Grand Rising Soul Fam. So every 6 days we are orbiting through a different genetic frequency. Right now we are in gene key 4, or gate 4 in human design, or hexagram name of Youthful, Folly. And today I'm going to share the Tao Oracle around the energetics and ways that it may be showing up for us. So that's the imagery here. This is actually part of my genetic expression. This is a couple keywords. Impulsiveness, immaturity, bluffing, ignorance, learning, impatience, reckless behavior. This is what I attract. This is in my attractor field. So this has been in the genetic frequency through the gene keys, the shadow of intolerance, the gift of understanding, and the siddhi, or the divine expression of forgiveness. And this brings me to the mantra that I say all the time when I'm out the supermarket or at the DMV or at the airport or wherever. I say, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. I usually will say, forgive them, Mother, for they know not what they do. But I think more people are familiar with that scripture. Anyways, so today, inviting in from Ma Deva Padma, the Tao, to share a little bit more about this genetic frequency through this embodiment of something that is connected with me. Here we go. In a very real sense, each new day begins as an empty slate. The lessons to be written on it are as yet unknown. Some aspects of the curriculum unfold over many years or even lifetimes. Others are as immediate as putting one's hand in the fire and finding out that it burns. But running like a thread through all of life's lessons is the fact that growth and maturity come through, being able to find creative solutions to problems and persevering even when those solutions can't be found. Life is compassionate. If you miss a class, the opportunity for making up the lesson will surely arise. It might come much later, and almost never comes when you expect it, but nothing is left incomplete. Nothing is left out or overlooked. Until you learn what you are destined to learn, you will be tested again and again by the great teacher, the Tao. Only when you have thoroughly understood the lesson will you be able to move on to the next level. I just have to say for a moment during this divine alignment that the AC kicks on right now. So in the genetic expression of intolerance, can we be in tolerance, tolerating what just is? So this big machine kicks on with this noise and we're like, okay, cool. You might find yourself at the moment seemingly stuck somewhere in this process of learning. The understanding that you need in order to move on to the next step seems to be within reach, but somehow you are held back. It's important to remember that understanding a thing intellectual is a good beginning, but it's not enough. When you are really put to the test, the only useful knowledge is what you have truly integrated into your bones and marrow, embodiment. No amount of study can bring about true wisdom, and nothing exposes the gap between book learning and wisdom like a time of youthful folly. The quality of the hexagram of youthful folly is intrinsically impatient. It wants everything now. It would like to be as clever and knowledgeable as others and must try on many different hats before finding one that fits. It hungers for respect and finds it excruciating to have to wait for a green light so that it can show off its power by gunning the engine and leaving the rubber on the streets as it roars out of the intersection at top speed. But if you give in to such impulses, or if you try to bluff your way into or out of a situation without really being prepared for the consequences, you'll end up simply exposing your immaturity. A classic tale that describes youthful folly is that of the sorcerer's apprentice, where a young pupil is eager to try his hand at magic and avoid the drudgery of attending to his daily chores. He is a bright and observant student, so when he waves the sorcerer's wand, he succeeds in summoning magical helpers, but then he falls asleep, oblivious to the havoc he has unleashed. Eventually, he's rescued by the sorcerer and admonished. His negligence has created a near disaster, but the experience proves to be priceless. The understanding that if you haven't mastered yourself, your words and deeds have little credibility in a crisis and can even bring danger to you and to others. Only through maintaining awareness and being mindful of the consequences of your actions can you live more consciously, responsibly, and in harmony with the Tao. Bottom line, line 1. It's important to keep just the right balance now between discipline and playfulness, seriousness of purpose and relaxation. Too much relaxation and play and nothing can be accomplished. Too much discipline and structure and nothing new and innovative can be learned. Be like a tightrope walker and keep your eye on the platform at the other end of the wire. Talk about trust. Line 2. Sometimes you find yourself in the position of the one who carries the wisdom of experience, while those around you are struggling to master the ABCs. Enjoy the opportunity to share and be grateful that it's come your way. The only lesson for you right now is to give freely of what you have so that you can create space in yourself to receive more. Line 2 is about finding the place of turning on the observer, coming out of the binary, and understanding that we get to receive forgiveness. When people actually do things that they are truly apologizing for and we get to meet them in the place of forgiveness, that's such a deeply healing portal. So even though we can't intellectually understand and we can feel like, why did this person do this to me? Through the act, the intimacy of forgiveness, you can actually find on the other side that it usually brings you closer together. And there is a component of love embedded in that karma and that charge. All right, line 3. When little thought is given to the deeper ramifications of your actions, there is a wild ride quality to life. When you become too fixated on reaching the goal of the moment, you risk overlooking the deeper lessons that are being offered to you now. A time out may be in order. To take a wider look around at any details of the landscape you might have missed by following too narrow a vision. As I said, this is that opportunity to not be the thinker, be the one who observes the thinker. What's happening on the stage there that you co-created? Line 4. Everybody needs and is granted the space to make mistakes. Without trials and errors, nobody would ever learn to walk or talk. But when the moment of truth comes and you realize that a mistake is a direct result of your own foolhardiness, it can be painfully embarrassing. Don't try to skip lightly over any feelings of humiliation you might experience as a result, and at the same time, don't wallow in self-blame. The lessons we learn most deeply are often those that feel the most uncomfortable when we are learning them. There's something about wearing the scarlet letter and claiming our shortcomings, and I give a lot of credit to people like Eminem that put it all out there. They claim their story, that they're no longer attached to that egoic victim story. They've transcended that, they've released it. So nobody can use it against them because there's no charge, there's no activation that they get from them. When you don't get a rise out of people, people don't pay you any mind to try and rally you up. Line 5. Transformation happens through diligence and perseverance in spite of difficulties. The passage can be greatly facilitated by developing a relationship with a wise friend. Seek out somebody whose own life shows that they relish the opportunity to grow, experiment, and explore, and accept with innocence and an open heart any guidance that they give you. Lastly, top insight arises from a deep yes-it to each lesson that life brings, including the painful ones. Namaste.